Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I am going to be ranking every Liverpool player's season so far, but I'm not going to be doing it on my own. I am joined with a fellow Liverpool fan that needs no introduction whatsoever. It's Leo's Goals. Leo, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm really excited to be on the channel and for us to finally connect. And it's a special season to be doing this, so I'm
It
hyped
is.
to be giving some shout outs to a lot of players because they deserve the praise, they deserve the love after the season we're having so far.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And it is an unbelievable season. And please, God, it's going to get even better from here till the end. But thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it,
Thank
man.
you.
We basically, as I said, I have a tier list here. Obviously, S at the top being the best, A, very good, B, good, C, average, and D, poor. So we are going to be putting each player from the Liverpool squad, obviously, in those tiers. And how we're going to do it is basically we'll go one by one. So if Leo ranks the first, we talk about that, see if we agree. I rank the second, we talk about it, and so on. So, Leo, you are the
Yeah.
guest. So you are going to get the first ranking. We have the best goalkeeper in the world, Alisson
Woo!
Becker.
Alisson Becker. Alisson Becker. Nah, I mean, like you said, he definitely is the best goalkeeper in the world. The only thing with him is, I think the only doubts maybe we could say is his injury record in the past. Sometimes you feel like it could be a small issue and he'll be out for weeks, sometimes months, and
Mm,
that happened again this season. And even when he came back, there were a few games where we were like, he didn't quite look himself, but now it feels like he's back. And when he is back fully fit, like the confidence you have with him being in goal, in recent times, it's
yeah.
felt like he hasn't even really had to make saves. So it's almost like he's not there. He doesn't
Mm,
really need to be there. But
yeah.
but yeah, I wouldn't say it's been like an outstanding campaign, but I feel like that's more credit to we'll talk about the center backs, Ibu and Virgil ahead of him, but I just feel like he hasn't had to have a world class campaign
Yeah.
because of how solid and controlling we've been under our new manager slot. So yeah, I think I would give him a 7 out of 10 because it's just or I mean you can't really fault him. So
Mm.
the problem is this is where you're gonna need to punch me with some realism because I'm the type where like I have so much love for Ali that I can't put him B. I don't know
Mm,
because like to me he didn't make massive errors and it's normal that when you come back from an injury you need a little bit of time to get back,
mm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's just I can't ask for more from him. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree, Leo. So you're gonna go A, is it? From
Yeah,
what I got from that. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I
yeah,
know he had his problems with injuries this season,
yeah.
but he's saved us in a lot of games like he always does.
Mm,
He's been putting in consistent as he always does, 8 or 9 out of 10 performances each game. He's been doing his job whenever called upon, even games where it's been quiet.
yeah.
And he's had a little bit of work to do. He's done it. So I agree. So we, first of all, are going to throw Ali in
Woo.
A. So next up is Queeving Kelleher, and I am going to say straight away A. Straight
Yeah.
away. I mean, like, I think
What a
only
keeper.
like in terms of S, like, I mean, the best of the best of the best, and I think obviously we know, and anybody who watches this knows who that is. But I mean, Kelleher in terms of when Ali was injured, he's always great, but I feel like this season, unbelievable, especially the games we had, like Real Madrid and
Yeah.
Leverkusen, and even City and some huge games. He was
Crazy.
unbelievable, unbelievable.
No, unreal. And yeah, I think that City game is one of our best. I mean, sorry, the Real Madrid game is one of our best memories of the season. The Mbappe penalty save and
Mm,
just the fact that when Ali came back from his injury, I saw so many people asking whether he deserves to keep that spot and whether Alisson needed to fight for that spot back. That's how good he was,
yeah, fact.
and I think that says it all. The fact that that was even a discussion point.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Unbelievable. I mean, look, I really hope he doesn't leave in the summer, but it looks like he might with
Yeah,
Mamardashvili coming in. But
yeah,
if he does, I hope and I know he deserves a massive club, and I really hope he gets it. And Liverpool should get well compensated for that because he's a very, very,
absolutely.
very good goalkeeper. And obviously, as an Irishman, I absolutely love him too. So
Yeah.
First two players, two A's. Next, we have a man who only made one start this season. He is still part of the squad. He was very good in that start. Leo Vitislav Yaros.
Oh, yeah, against Crystal Palace. Yeah,
Yeah, it was,
yeah.
and was it Brighton as well in the League Cup?
Mm,
He could have had two
yeah,
starts. Could have had two
yeah.
starts. Yeah.
Nah, he was fantastic. He's another one where I remember the discussions where after his performance, he just looks so commanding. He looks so like in a 1v1 situation, it seems like he's the type of keeper that you'd want. And so yeah, I remember also the reaction after was like he deserves more games, but like how are we gonna do it? Because we have these
Yeah.
two, ahead of him. But again, what could you say he where was a fault for? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
for a young
absolutely. I
keeper.
mean, yeah, he was very, very good. And I know in that game, or was it two games or whatever, but
Yeah.
he made some really, really good saves and he was good. I don't think he played enough games to be in
Mm.
like too high, but
Yeah.
I'd say B is fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll throw him in B. So next up, we are on to the defense, and we have Trent Alexander-Arnold, and this is I think Trent has had a good season, bar a couple of games. Obviously, look, I mean, people talk about his defending, but
Yeah.
ultimately, you know, I think it gets a lot of it gets too much hate rather than anything else. There is a couple of games where he comes up against some really good wingers, but he always contributes going forward. I think he's had a
Yeah.
good season. I don't think I'd have him in like I think it'd be harsh to put him in B. I think I'd put him in lower kind of A.
Hey.
What do you think? Trent in behind Kelleher and Allison, or in the middle,
Yeah.
or ahead of Kelleher and Allison?
That's gonna be tough. I'll
I'd
let you decide that one. That's tough
I'm
because they
I'm
play such
gonna
different.
they do. I'm gonna go behind Kelleher and Allison. Connor Bradley, another Irishman who has been absolutely unbelievable when he's came in this season. Leo, what do you think?
I think everybody loves him to bits because we talk about fight, passion, like that tackle on Mbappe in the Real Madrid game will forever be remembered. I
Yeah,
still remember the roar you could hear at
yeah.
Anfield, and then just yeah, he just our what I find so incredible with him is he's up against some of in high stake games where the pressure would get to me for sure, but you
Mhm.
just feel like he's so assured and he seems to have such a confidence about him, which I think is rare to find in young players,
Yeah.
especially with the kind of pressure. He's been that good. Where again, it's the same thing we're talking about with Kelleher and Alisson with the backups, where when he comes in, it's almost like, are we gonna throw Trent in right away when he comes back from an injury because of how well he's been playing?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to sum up for both Kelleher and Connor Bradley as to how good they were. Where you just want to find a way to keep them in the team, but you can't ultimately because we're talking about world class,
Yeah.
experienced
Fact.
players. You know.
Fact. Yeah. And I think Bradley in the future could be absolutely world class. But as you said, Leo, every time he's came in, he's been absolutely unbelievable. If Trent does leave in the summer, we are in very good hands. I think we agree here for sure. A,
Oh yeah,
it's just where are we going to place him in A? So Ali at the moment is first, Kelleher second, Trent third. In
that's
behind Trent,
I can't do that. I let you decide those because it's
I
so hard ranking because the roles are
it
so different.
is it
It's
is.
that's
It's Trent has a lot more games on his side. So I'll say, even though
okay.
Bradley like when he has been unbelievable, especially in the big games. Uh,
Yeah.
I'll since Trent has more games, I'll say Bradley's is fourth in A. He's behind Trent.
Mm,
So Joey Gomez into the center halves. Look, he's had his problems with injuries this season. I don't think he's been fantastic when he has played, but at the same time, he's been in and out the team.
yeah.
It's not easy. Obviously, he's up against, for me, two of the best center backs in the world, Ibu and Virgil.
Yep.
And so, look, it's a difficult position to be in. I think one of Gomez or Kwanzaa will be gone in the summer.
Yep.
If not both, we shall see. But
Mm,
we'll go B. Next up,
yeah.
what a player. what a season he's had, like so many of these. Ibu Kanate.
Ibu, he's my favorite player in the team too, because
I
I'm
love
half
him.
French. I'm
French as
half
well, yeah.
French, yeah,
Mm,
and he's just like you could just see such an infectious character. You just want to be around him when you see, the behind the scenes videos.
yeah,
But the way he's cut, like the way he's grown this season, I think is just absolutely incredible. Like you look at just like you would look at Virgil. If you tell me every attribute a center back needs, for me, he has it. I don't
yeah.
see a weakness in his game except staying fit.
I
And
agree.
and that's why, like, for me, I put him at the top of the categories for this season, because I truly believe to win a league title you have to be solid defensively, and we were talking about Alisson not needing to do that much this season.
Mm,
I think it's the spine. I think it's Virgil and Ibu who have been the best center back partnership in
me
the
too.
world, arguably, honestly.
Yeah. And
Like,
I couldn't agree more. And I think, like, I know Arsenal fans will try to get one of Saliba or Gabriel
yeah.
into the Premier League team this season. They shouldn't. They really shouldn't.
Mm,
And I don't care what anybody says. Kanate is better than both Saliba and Gabriel. He is. And as you said, Leo, the only issue he's ever had so far in his career is fitness. That's it. Just
yeah.
getting injured. And obviously he can't help that. But the one season now where he's only had a minor injury, that's it. Obviously,
Yeah.
the way Slot and the backroom team has managed the players, the minutes and everything, and the medical staff, unbelievable. And that has benefited so many more players this season. And Ibu has been one of those. So
Yeah.
he's the first player in S. Best season so far in a Liverpool shirt. And Jarrell Kwanzaa. So, um, I think this has to be a C. I'm going to be honest, Leo. He's just doesn't have the confidence anymore. I hate to see
Mm,
it. I don't want to see him go in the summer because
yeah.
look at last season and he's young and you can see that there's a proper player in there and he's got great ability. I mean, I think Klopp really liked him as well last
Yeah.
season. I think
Definitely.
since that United game though, his confidence, he just
Mm.
hasn't been able to get back, even though in his defense, that interception against Wolves. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like against Wolves, like you
Mm,
said, I don't want to see him leave in the summer either, because you could see the potential. But I don't even think it was just
mm.
United. I think the very first game of the season to be taken off at halftime, when
Yeah,
it's the first game of a new era, and that's like a monumental moment. I remember how much we spoke about it, because after everyone was speaking about how he's like brutal, how Slot is different to Klopp, where he would have never done this kind of like tactical change that feels very brutal towards a player. But it just felt like his confidence shot from that moment
yeah,
on, and I
yeah,
think,
that too.
unfortunately, I would have to agree with, you'd have to put him there.
Virgil van Dijk. We're just gonna go S straight away, number
Yeah.
one straight away. So
No.
yeah,
Did
I
you think
mean,
this is his best season apart from the 2019, the where he was second in the Ballon d'Or?
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And do you know what, Leo? He should be getting Ballon d'Or shouts this season. I'm not saying win it, but he
Mm,
should be in the top five
I
this
agree.
season. I
Yep.
think it's crazy. He gets no
Yep.
shouts.
Yep.
Isn't it crazy?
He's a
Like,
defender. You know how
yeah.
defenders never get shots.
And he was robbed, obviously, back in what 20,
2019,
yeah, 2019.
2019.
He
Yeah.
was robbed. The best season a defender has ever had. I mean, literally, it was an achievement to dribble past him. Like he's the best center half in the world, and he's still he's like in a second prime at 33 years old. He is ridiculous. But
It's
yeah,
crazy.
Virgil, absolutely number one right now. Next up, the GOAT center back in Premier League
Oh,
history. The GOAT center back, full stop. Simple.
yeah.
Next up, Robbo. Leo, I'll let you take that one.
Mm,
Not the
yeah.
best, but
Yeah, no.
better in recent, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. But it's no, it's been tough for him, because it just felt like what he's always been so good at is like just like this nonstop energy, and that kind of intensity that I think you need to be in your prime in terms of physicality, and it's normal that he wouldn't have the same shape that he would have 5 years ago with the amount of running he did under Klopp. So I don't think he's at his 100% anymore. And
mm,
there's a reason why everybody who gets asked about what position we need in the summer, it's most people talk about a left back and a striker. I feel like
yeah,
those are the two. And so yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think we have to give him a C in
yeah,
terms of the expectations that are set on him, because he was the best left back in the world under Klopp, and he was so consistent and he was unbelievable, and unfortunately, he's you can tell it's not a form thing. I think it's he can't be a week in weekend starter. If we want to win
No.
everything. I mean, to be fair, we
Yeah.
might this season with him, but
I think Robbo. I think, as I said, he has been better over the last while. In recent times, I think
yep,
he's got better. I think since that Fulham red card, he has been, better than he was kind of before that, especially in around that. It was, the worst we've seen him for probably you definitely I would say in Liverpool shirt, but
yeah,
yeah, it's one of those like I'd love to see him there next season, but have like a really good left back like challenging him or whatever. And I would still love to see Robbo in a Liverpool
yep,
shirt. We'll see what happens in the summer, but yeah, Robbo in C. Costa Simicas up next, and again a bit like Robbo, good and bad.
yep.
I probably have him above Robbo, but in C.
Yep. Yeah,
What do you
I would
think?
agree, and
Mm,
and also just the fact that he this would have been the season for him to get the opportunity to be a Liverpool starter, and
yeah.
Slot gave him the chances, and he didn't completely take those chances, and
Mm,
and to me that just says I would even put him kind of below Robbo, more so
really?
not because just purely performance, but purely because there is one who's now our out and out starting left back. And Slot is
Yeah.
not the type of manager where just because Klopp gave you loyalty in the past, he's gonna start you just because of your history. He's the type where all that matters is winning. He's
Yeah.
not gonna attach any kind of loyalty. So the fact that Robbo is our starting left back means that he rates him higher and that he thinks
Yeah.
we have a better chance of winning with him, you know?
No, to be
But
fair, now that you've said that, yeah, no, it is fair. I think I was being too harsh on Robert there, putting
mm,
Simicast above. I think Simicast has like good games and bad games coming in,
yep.
but as I said, Robbo's still been okay for a large part of the season. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. And see, I have Robbo, Simi, and Kwanzaa. Next up, a player you love, a player I love, a player we all love into the midfield, Wataru Endo.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody loves him,
Yeah,
but he unfortunately hasn't been getting much playing time this season.
yeah,
He's our closer, but he's fantastic at what he does.
he is.
But it's hard to give a rating, for him because it's like every time. I mean, to be fair, if his role is to be that squad player that comes on to close games, can you ask for any more than what he's
Yeah,
doing?
fact,
I like
fact.
So again, it's like depending on what his role is, and his role seems to be that. And if it's that, then I don't think you can ask more than
No.
than an A. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
me too.
I
Me too. I think he's got to be A. Like, I mean, just if we're just going off some of these players, just the actual games that they played, the time they've had
yeah.
in the pitch. Like, I mean, like he's not really had a bad game. Even like that game
Mm.
against Plymouth, he was like our only good player. So I agree. Yeah, I think let's see. Do we put him ahead of Bradley or do we put him below Bradley? I think probably below Bradley just because Bradley has played more games. He's been great. I'll
I let
go.
you choose. I let you choose that. I can't do the rankings. I'll put the
I put
levels,
him,
but I can't
yeah,
do rankings.
I put him fifth in A, and I think that's fair. I think that's
Okay.
fair. Next up, another player. I'll leave you to this one, who's had an absolutely incredible season, Ryan Gravenberg. We all know where he's going.
Yep. Top of the top. Top of the
Yeah,
top. I still remember in the summer, everybody was freaking out. Oh my God, we didn't sign a defensive mid. We have no chance of winning anything.
yeah.
We can't, we won't be able to do anything in the season. No, there's not one person I saw that predicted him
Oh,
playing that
fact.
six role for us, starting that
Yeah.
six role. Not even, not mind you, like being world class how he's been this season in terms of consistency. But I didn't even see anyone mention like we should give him a chance there. Nobody was
Mm,
talking about that,
yeah.
and I think he's been in our top three most consistent players.
Yeah.
So
I
for a
agree.
22-year-old to be doing that,
Yeah. It's
special.
unbelievable. And what a player we have on our hands. I mean, thank God for obviously Arne Slot, that Dutch connection as well, which I think has
Yep.
massively helped, obviously with Cody
Yep.
as well. But
Mm,
yeah, I mean, like you don't play for, clubs like Ajax, Bayern Munich if you're not a good player. And like last season we seen bits of it, but this season just unbelievable. And as you said, we don't need another DM as a starter or whatever. Like we don't
mm,
need Zubamendi or whatever because we have
yep.
somebody who's far better. The only question is top three. I think. Would you have Virgil first or Gravenberg first? I think Verge. I do.
Oh, I can't choose that because I was about to picture in my mind which one, if you remove them from the team, would there be a bigger drop off? And honestly, I think it would almost be equal because we don't have
Yeah.
a replacement.
Mm.
I mean, you just think about it. How could you replace either of them week in, week
Mm.
out? No, with our
Nah,
squad.
I agree, and he's like Gravenberg's played an unbelievable amount of game time this season, as has Virgil. I think Virgil being captain and
Captain?
how good he's been
Mm,
this season, I think
mm,
that is fair. Virgil first at the moment, Gravenberg
mm.
second, and Ibu
Okay.
third. Next up is Harvey Elliott, a man who has not really been too
Mm,
favored by Arne Slot, which I think is harsh. I'm a big fan of Harvey. I think he's got great
mm.
potential. He's got great ability. And I think really we'd have to be looking at C here. Really, I probably would say, yeah.
But don't you feel like it's so hard though to say that a player's had an average season if they don't really get chances? But
I
then at
know.
the same time, you might also say he does see him every single day on the training pitch, and he does have a good idea of what he looks like and how he could fit into the team, and he hasn't.
No.
And to be fair, in the Plymouth game, he didn't take that opportunity, which is the last one that's in memory.
Mm,
So I worry for him because I think we all of us Liverpool fans love him to bits. He was so good last season, and now I just don't see any other way than him leaving in the summer. Slot still hasn't made a single signing, and if without him adding players to the team, he's already never getting chances. I don't see how that changes next season. I
yeah.
worry about that. You
No,
know?
I agree. I think I don't know. I hope he doesn't, but he could be one player. Slot looks to move on in
Mm,
the summer, and I really hope he's not because he's got great potential. He's a fantastic footballer, but yeah, it's just I
yeah.
don't know. Look, ultimately the manager knows best. We'll see
Yep.
what he does. Um, I'm gonna go Elliot behind Robbo in C. So
Mm,
second in C, I think is
okay.
fair, just ahead of Stimmy. Yeah. Okay, next up, I'll give you this one. Leo is Curtis Jones. You mentioned him earlier, the Scouser.
Yeah, I think he's come leaps and bounds this season in terms of it's felt kind of low key his role, but he just every clearly slot that's the opposite to Harvey. Clearly he really does back him, and he's played in a lot of the big games like the Real Madrid game, and I think he's been so much more consistent this season. You
Mm,
see the fight, you see the passion, you see how much he wants to succeed at the club, and I'm sure, Slot loves that, and with the way that he has the ability to keep the ball in possession and transition. Those are all, I think, you know traits that he wants in his system, and he has those. And I remember even in preseason he was already saying, and it was kind of controversial then, but he said something like, my game suits his style of play a lot more than it did Klopp because we have more time on the ball, we have more time for decision making. And so yeah, I think we can give him a B, like top
yeah,
of B, top of
yeah.
B, you
Yeah,
know.
I'd agree. I'd agree. I think Curtis has had a good season. I think at one stage of the season he was having a great season.
Mm,
He had an injury or two, kind of minor ones, but
yeah.
nothing huge. But yeah, as you mentioned, for the reasons there, he's been good. He's contributed a lot to the team, especially obviously going forward. I think his defensive work has improved as well under Arne Slot, which is great to
Yeah.
see. And yeah, I think he's had a good season. I think B is fair. So next up, we're coming to the end of the midfield. Alexis McAllister. I'm saying straight away A. Underrated, fantastic player, big game player as we've seen this season, consistent.
And I hope he's in our midfield for many, many years to come because I think we'll win more big trophies. I mean, he's won the World Cup already. This guy's a winner, and
Agreed.
we're lucky to have him.
Facts. Couldn't agree more, bro. I am thinking first an A straight away. Other player now onto who could definitely be an A. Dominic Soboslai. I'll let you take that one, Leo.
Yeah, dumb, and I'm so happy for him right now because
Mm.
he's getting a lot of attention right now. He got man of the match against City. Well, he was there with Salah for man of the match against City, then Newcastle. So he's just come leaps and bounds in recent times. But I even think before, he already was so important to our system and in the energy that he brought, the intensity and just the desire. He's just like he works so hard, and that's another one where I think it has a knockoff effect on the rest of the team. And for me, like, yeah, I think the whole season he's been absolutely fantastic. Now he's just
Mm.
adding goals, which we all knew he had in his game. So he's just taking it that step further. But I think like you have to put
Yeah.
him on par with Maka. Really, when
Yeah.
he was out injured, we really saw the difference in the team, I think.
Fact. Fact. 100%. And as you said there, Leo, like, I mean, what he does off the ball as well, like the stuff that he doesn't get so much credit for. He's adding the goals now, he's adding the assists, stuff like that. The big game performances and being, the focal point, up the pitch to take that chance and to put Liverpool ahead and, to really
Absolutely.
give us a great chance of winning these games. But he's just kind of going around or going along so nicely. I feel like he's just
Yep.
getting better and better and better and better. And I think since around Christmas or something like that, or maybe probably just before it, you could just see he was going to really be so important for the rest of the
Mm,
season. And I think he's been
yep.
put in some fantastic performances. I I
I love him.
absolutely, me too. I absolutely adore Maka, but I don't know what I have. Sabo or Maka? It's got to be one. Has got to be second.
That's impossible. I'm letting you choose. This is your channel. You're getting to choose this. I
I'm
can't.
gonna, I
They're too
actually,
important.
yeah, I actually can't either.
He could end by the end of the season even higher than A,
He
honestly.
could. Yeah, 100%.
With big Champions League performances. He could.
Mm, I'm gonna put. I'm gonna leave Maka first at the moment and put Sabo
You
second.
got your loyalty to Baka.
Yeah, yeah. Like I absolutely love Sabo too so much. Like I
Yeah.
like all these players pretty much,
Yeah.
obviously, but just like Maka, just game in game out, like it's just like it just doesn't put in a bad performance. Like
Yeah.
when he's
It's
not like
true.
an 8 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? It's like wow, it's a shock. But yeah, I'm happy with this so far.
Yeah.
On to the forwards. We have Federico Chiesa, and obviously another player who has not played very much this season, who Slot I don't think has fancied too much, but
Yeah.
ultimately as well, fitness certainly an issue. You mentioned that Plymouth game. That was a big game for him. Show something. You might
Mm.
be some sort of a option
Yeah.
towards the end of the season. He was really, really poor. It's a
Mm.
definite C. The only
Mm.
question for me here
Yeah.
is do we put him last or do we put him ahead of Kwanzaa? That's the biggest question for me. What
I
do you think?
think if we're yeah, I think if we're being real since from what we've seen so far, he hasn't really had an impact on our season. And you could say Kwanzaa, I know it's a moment, but already the Wolves moment comes to my head, and that was a defining moment in a game where we were just one goal up. So I I think you might have to put him last in terms of
Yeah,
expectation when he came in because we know he's experienced. We know he has been world class in the past.
mentioned as well, they were all rotational games, and he did get that goal. He was unlucky not to get more than the one goal, but
Yeah.
ultimately, yeah, I mean, you talk about the games where he's been maybe more needed. He either hasn't played or hasn't really made much of a contribution. So I think that is fair. Next up is the man who is going straight to number one in this list.
Woo!
The best player in the world,
Yeah. He's gonna
Mohamed
be our second
Salah.
ever Ballon d'Or winner.
Facts, facts, facts. Should have been three, obviously, with Virgil, but
Yeah.
thankfully we're gonna get this again. I mean, like, what can you say? Best Premier League season ever. He could break the goal record, and he will break the assist record, in one season. Just incredible. Like Virgil, I think. I mean, we all thought like they could, obviously they'd still be great, and like they have been for the last few seasons, but
Yeah.
when they had their prime kind of a few years ago, we all thought that was, naturally the best that we would see of them, not in their 30s. And,
Yeah.
this is like a second prime again for Mohamed Salah.
It's it's
Unbelievable.
it's so impressive too because I feel like you almost can't compare him to the 17-18 player. He's such a different kind of player, like so much more creative in terms of look at the assist numbers. Like you said, he's gonna break that record probably this
Mm,
season. So what I respect so much, and I think Arsene Wenger said it, where he's like the reason he loves Mohamed Salah is seeing how he improves year upon year. And even if we don't see the work he puts in every single day, you could just see it by the way he's been developing and the way he's been maturing and just getting better and better and better. So yeah, oh man, it would be so
Mm.
special to see him win the Ballon d'Or and for us
Ah,
to. I just hope he
100%.
extends. Are you feeling
Yeah,
more confident, or what? Where are you right now? If you could give a percentage confidence of him extending.
I'm still at like 80
Oh,
80%, 88. I'm still at like 80%, bro.
wow.
Honestly. Why, what are you? Are you over
80%
50?
confident.
Yeah.
Okay, I like to hear that. I was not expecting that. No,
I
I don't
just
know.
I can't see I just don't see a world in which Liverpool can let him go. I mean, the fans will
Yep.
not have it,
Yeah.
Scousers will not have it. Like, I mean, you know, it would be it would be it would be something that FSG would never be able to recover from. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? Like,
yeah.
signing Mohamed Salah, re-signing him
Yeah.
would be bigger than any transfer. Same
Mm,
with Virgil van Dijk that we would do
mm,
in the summer.
yep.
So I
And
just,
also, on top of that, I also think sometimes from Mo's point of view, he's 32 years old and there literally isn't a better club for him to go to. We know how obsessed he is about breaking records. He's not going to go to another Premier League team. He wouldn't fit at Real Madrid or Barca.
no,
What other club would be an upgrade?
yeah,
And then on top of that, people say, oh, he's going to get the bag in Saudi. I don't get that argument because if he signs a 3 year deal, he'll be 36, 37. That's when Ronaldo went to
mm,
Saudi. So it's not
mm,
like in a few years he
mm,
can't get the bag. Like he has a
yeah,
chance to cement his legacy even more.
Diogo Jota.
Yeah, Diogo Jota. It's like I said it before. I think the two positions we need to strengthen in the summer is a striker and the left back. And what's unfortunate with Diogo is it felt like before that injury against Chelsea, and it's such an unlucky injury too, where I think it was Tussin who hit his ribs
Yeah,
or as he went down. So it's
yeah,
not even like like it's a player that put that upon him. But before then, I remember him looking really good, and I thought our best front three then was Salah, Jota, Lucho. But since that injury and the way he's come back, he was great in the Forest game, to be fair, when he
he
came off the
was.
bench. But now it's strange where we don't even know who our starting striker is. So I
Mm,
think he's one of a few attackers this summer. If the right interest comes in terms of money, I think the club would be open to signing him because of the ruthless elite mentality that Slot has. Where for him, I think player availability is going to be number one. He talks all the time about Salah being the benchmark.
mm,
What is Salah's probably most impressive attribute for me? It's player availability. How
yeah,
often he's
fact.
fit, how he's always available. And unfortunately, Jota,
I
it's
know.
just, and
Yeah,
it's so important.
yeah, and like yourself, Leo, I love the guy, but it's reliability and ultimately, obviously, at the top teams, and you need that. As you mentioned, Salah there. The top
Mm,
players are always available. Virgil as well. Do you know what I mean? They always
yep.
are because they're just unbelievable athletes. Remember Luis Suarez
Yep.
back in the day? He never got injured. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the top players. Like, you're talking about. Like, yes, there is top
Elite.
players. Yeah, the
Yep.
elite. You're talking
Elite.
about there is like top players who do get injured and who are injury prone. You know,
Yep.
they're an exception. That can happen to any
Like Michael
footballer.
Owen, remember
Like
he
Michael
was
Owen, yeah,
before his injuries, he was incredible, Ballon d'Or winner, like
he
incredible.
was,
Yeah.
and obviously not as good, but very very good.
Yep.
But riddled with injuries. Daniel Sturridge was another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a conversation for the summer. I
B,
think.
no? B?
Yeah,
I think
I think it's okay.
let me
I think it's
yeah.
okay. But I do believe, or I do think that Slot might look elsewhere in the summer, and I don't blame him. Just
Yep.
ultimately, look, I want Diogo to stay, but reliability is a big issue. Next up is Luis Diaz. Now he started the season excellently. Had a really poor few months then. Only got his first goal in 2025 lately.
Recently. Yep.
Yeah, but over the last couple of performances, he has looked a lot better again. I'm not sure if he loved playing through the center
Yeah, I
that
don't think he
slot
did.
had him. He probably
Mm,
didn't. And look, he was
mm,
out of his comfort zone there, even though he did well in it for some games.
yep.
But now that he's back on the left, he looks better. Uh, I'm thinking number one and B, genuinely. Just because that kind of form that we seen earlier on this season, it wasn't sustained throughout.
I would argue A, but not top of A. Obviously, the reason I say
Yeah.
that is because the beginning part of the season, when you said like he was playing in his preferred position, I remember the Leverkusen game. I remember the United game where he scored two goals at Old Trafford. These are big performances, hat tricks against the champions of Germany, like
Yeah.
moments that can define your season. And he was at the heart of some of those performances. And in the Newcastle game, for me, he was a top two player. It was him and Sobasai. Him
Yeah.
being on the
Agree.
left, it's I think he never came out of the team when he was fit, which says something. Even when he's not playing in his preferred his preferred position. And we'll get on to Gakpo. That's what's made that decision difficult. But I think in terms of what he's being asked of, you can't ask for much more because
Yeah.
he's just stepped up in big games. And
Hmm.
and again, not top of A, but I think still because of those big games I have in my mind, I think they would have meant a lot to this team and to Slot.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why
Me
he's been a
too.
really important player, you know?
Yeah, he is, and like ultimately with Gakpo there on the left, Gakpo obviously has been unbelievable. He's next up, so we'll talk about him.
Yep.
But and look, I don't see a future with Diaz on the left, so he's got to, I'd say, probably play second fiddle in the future to Gakpo or be that replacement if Gakpo gets injured. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, there was rumors there recently too what
Yep.
Slot does with Diaz in the summer.
Yep.
But yeah, A is okay, but
Mm.
I put him lower A. Endo is
Yep.
last in A at the moment. I would go below or ahead of him. What do you think?
Ahead.
Ahead.
Ahead. Yeah.
Ahead of Bradley.
Yeah. So look,
Yeah.
Diaz has 12 goal contributions in the league and Gakpo 11. So he has
That's
more than
actually
Cody.
that's
Yeah.
crazy,
But that's
Gakpo
what I mean.
only.
Recency, that's what happens. We remember the recent
Yeah,
times
yeah,
more.
true.
It makes sense.
How
But I
many assists
seriously,
does Gakpo have? One. Was it
Gakpo only
one?
has three.
Three, yeah, because I was thinking he's got 9 or 10 goals. And Lucho has what, 9 goals?
He has 9 goals, 3 assists. So he
Nine
has
goals, 3 assists.
one more
Yeah.
goal and same amount of assists.
I mean, if he
You
was hitting
know,
like 15 goals, that'd be a good season.
which he
So
could
he
if he
could.
kept starting on the left.
Yeah,
I think he could
100%.
genuinely.
And Liverpool have a lot of good fixtures coming up as well. So yeah, if he was hitting 15 goals, that's a good season for a winger and a few assists, 20 goal contributions. Very good season for a winger. So
Yeah.
A, I think is fair enough.
Woo.
Leo, I'm gonna give this next one to you. I think he's I think it's gotta be one of the top two, Cody Gakpo.
I think he's yeah. We talk about big games from Lucho. He's the same. You think about the week where we faced City and Real Madrid. He scored in both. He scored
Mm,
in big games. In the Carabao Cup, we're in the final. That's a big thanks to him.
yeah.
Goals away of bright certain games. But yeah, I would still like. Would you say there's been levels between him and Lucho? Is what I wonder. Do you think?
I I think
I
in
don't.
terms of like in front of goal, I think in terms of being like the difference maker, in terms of kind of having that chance and taking that chance,
Yep.
I think Cody's been huge this season because
Mm,
Salah obviously will always take that, the vast majority of the weight
yep.
with the attack to score goals.
Yep.
Gakpo
Yep.
has, it's even not just the Premier League. Obviously, you talk with the League Cup, you talk with the Champions
Yep.
League. He's scored a lot of goals throughout all of these competitions. He scored a lot of goals at Anfield in big games as well. He has
Yep.
took the pressure off Salah. He's been on the end of a
Mm,
good few Salah assists too.
mm.
Notably that lovely goal against City at Anfield. But yeah, I honestly think first in A. We have the last player, and
Who's gonna
I'll
be
go.
top of the top? Who's gonna be top of the top, baby?
We have Darwin Nunez.
Oh yes, Darwizzy.
I know, Leo. I know you like him. I like
Yeah.
his effort, but I'd honestly go D.
No.
I
I'm
would.
gonna, no, I can't have that. I can't have him being the
It's
only D player. I can't have
well,
that.
it's well, he's either D or
I don't see
well.
how he's below Chiesa.
To be fair, you're thinking about it now. Fair enough. Even though I just feel Leo.
Expectations, you mean? Like what
Yeah,
you thought he could be
that's
capable
it.
of.
I mean,
Mm,
this was literally his last chance, Leo, this season. It was his last
mm,
chance this season. Show us something. Show us that 85 million pound player, and you have a future at this club. And ultimately, apart from that Brentford game, he has cost us more than he's actually benefited us. And that's why I would have him in D. But now that you say Chiesa,
mm.
fair enough, maybe second last in C.
Well, it definitely has to be in C. I can't have him in D. I will fight for
Fair.
that. I will fight for that,
Fine.
but no, I agree with you in terms of like the expectation. It's normal that we have those expectations because we know kind of his potential as well, and it just feels like he's unfortunately not hitting that potential. You know, something's
Mm.
not working out at Liverpool. But I think the really great news, and this is what I'm happy about, that I think it should just be a nice ending in terms of it's not worked out, but we could have a really successful season and we could get good money for him in the summer if he goes to Saudi, and then everybody's happy because it's like
Yeah.
we'll be able to reinvest that money and hopefully sign Isaac or a player of that
Yeah. I
quality.
mean,
And
imagine.
then he's very happy because in Saudi he'll get lots of money,
Mm.
and so I'm hoping for that kind of win-win situation so it can be just a nice ending because
Yeah. Agreed.
yeah,
And
you
like
know,
to leave with a Premier League title, possibly more. I mean, ultimately, he'll look back at his time at Liverpool and look. I mean, he's always been backed by the fans, especially at Anfield. He'd obviously always be welcome back. I wish him the absolute best going
yeah,
forward in his career. I've nothing against the guy. At times, I have just felt though for a while, I don't think he's good enough. We need better,
mm,
especially with
yeah, I've
how
seen you,
you
yeah,
know, and how
yeah,
good we are, and the standard. Even Slot said a few weeks ago, "Oh,
yeah.
Mohamed Salah's standard. That's the standard.
Yep.
Players
Good
should."
luck.
Yeah, good
Yeah, but
luck.
good luck to anyone trying to.
Genuinely, it's
Oh
right. But
God.
I love what he said because it
Yeah.
was like, look, you should look at Mohamed Salah's standard, and that's the standard. That's the standard. You have to get up to that standard. You have to get close to that standard to play for a club like Liverpool. And that's just exactly what you want to hear your manager say. And Nunez falls a lot below that standard. But yeah, second last. And we are
Woo!
we're officially finished the tier list. We're officially finished.
Beautiful.
And I'm happy. I'm happy with it. I'll go through it.
Yeah.
In S,
Yep.
first place we have Mohamed Salah. In second place we have Virgil van Dijk. In third place we have Ryan Gravenberch, and in fourth place we have Ibu Kanate. In A, we have Cody Gakpo at first, Alexis McAllister at second, Dominic Szoboszlai at third, Alison Becker at fourth, Queven Kelleher fifth, Trent Alexander-Arnold sixth, Connor Bradley seventh, Luis Diaz eighth, and Wataru Endo ninth. In B, we have Curtis Jones in first, Joey Gomez in two, Jota in third, Yaros in fourth, and in C we have Robertson first, Elliott second, Simicast third, Kwanzaa fourth, Nunez fifth, and Chiesa sixth. I think we've done well there.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
tough though. It's
it
tough,
is.
but good job. I feel like you're better than this than I am because I would just have way too much bias. So that's what people say. I that's my problem. But
It's one of those. It's one of those that look, especially in a fantastic season, it's tough to say
yeah.
that, anybody has been like poor or whatever. So like
Mm.
I can hear you on, especially on the Nunez one. It would be harsh to put him down that low. But yeah, no, I'm happy with that. I
Yeah.
think we have done well.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody watching, let me know in the comments. Have we
Yeah.
got anything wrong? Do you agree? Do you disagree? But I've enjoyed that so much,
Yeah.
Leo.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Likewise, thank you so much for coming on. If you don't know Leo, let's be real, you all do. I'll link his channel in the subscription
Thank you very
and
much.
I'll link his channel in the description, and make sure to subscribe to him. Love his content. Seen you for this stage, it must be 4 or 5 years. It must be, I think it's more. I think it's on Instagram and everything, about 5 or 6 years. Please like the video, subscribe, and yeah, thanks, Leo. Much
Thank
appreciated.
you. Here's to us, hopefully looking back on this, and we just want to bring everybody way up to the highest tier list because of a
Absolutely.
historical season where hopefully it'll go down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I fully enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks for coming on. Thank you for
Thank you,
watching.
brother.
And I'll see you all soon. Up the Reds.